In the ancient kingdom of Illidara, where red earth met green forests and the air always smelled of palm wine and wood smoke, lived a girl whose life was wrapped in quiet suffering. Her name was Amara. No one called her that anymore. They called her that girl, the servant, or sometimes nothing at all. Amara lived in a large compound with tall mud walls and carved wooden doors, but inside those walls was no warmth, only fear, only pain, only silence that screamed louder than words. She was not born into suffering. Once, long ago, Amara had known love. Her mother, Lady Ifyananya, was gentle and kind, a woman whose laughter healed tired hearts. She died when Amara was only 7, leaving behind a grieving husband and a child too young to understand why joy could disappear overnight. Amara's father, Chief Obiora, mourned deeply. For years he refused to remarry, but elders whispered, neighbors advised, and finally loneliness defeated him. That was when Madame Nena entered their lives. She came with her daughter Zara. From the first day, the air in the house changed. Madame Nena was beautiful in a sharp way. Her eyes were always calculating. Her smile never reached her heart. She spoke softly in public, but her voice turned poisonous behind closed doors. She treated Chief Obiora like a king in front of others. But when the doors shut, she ruled with hunger. Chief Obiora was not weak, but he was tired. Any time he spoke in defense of Amara, food disappeared from his plate. If he raised his voice, she would cry for days, refusing to cook, refusing to speak, refusing to share a bed. Soon, the strong man became a silent man. And silence is a weapon when used against a child. Zara, Madame Nena's daughter, was the complete opposite of Amara. She never fetched water, never swept the compound, never cooked, never washed clothes. From morning till night, Zara sat before a mirror. Powder on her face, oil on her hair, jewelry clinking on her wrists. While Amara's hands grew rough from labor, Zara's fingers stayed soft and decorated with henna. Beauty must be preserved, Madame Nena would say, and then she would turn to Amara and add, work builds character. But it was not work. It was punishment. Amara woke before the cock crowed. She fetched water from the stream while the moon was still awake. She swept the compound until her back screamed. She cooked meals she was not allowed to eat. She washed clothes until her fingers bled. And when she made a mistake, plate cracked, salt too much, water spilled, Madame Nena's slap would land before explanation. Sometimes it was hunger. Sometimes it was insults. Sometimes it was both. You are useless like your dead mother. You will never be loved. You will die poor and forgotten. At night, Amara slept on a thin mat near the kitchen, listening to Zara laugh inside the main room. Suffering cannot hide forever. The women in the neighborhood began to notice. They saw Amara carrying loads too heavy for her small body. They saw bruises she tried to cover. They saw her old eyes in a young face. Why is that child always working? Does she ever eat? Where is her father? Pity spread like fire. Some women secretly gave her food. Some whispered prayers over her head. Some warned Madame Nena gently. But Madame Nena only smiled, and hatred grew deeper in her heart. Then came the day that changed everything. The royal drums sounded from the palace. Prince Caden, the only son of the king, was coming to inspect villages. He was of age to marry, and every household with a daughter buzzed with excitement. Madame Nena nearly danced with joy. This is Zara's destiny, she announced. Zara practiced walking, smiling, and speaking like a queen. Amara, she was sent to the forest. Go fetch firewood, Madame Nena barked, and do not return until sunset. But destiny does not obey wicked orders. As Amara walked through the forest, balancing wood on her head, she heard voices. She tried to turn away, but it was too late. The prince saw her, not her clothes, not the dirt on her skin, not the scars on her hands. He saw her eyes that carried pain, strength, and quiet dignity. He stopped. Who is that girl? He asked. The guards did not know. Amara trembled, and for the first time in her life, someone spoke to her gently. This moment, is where jealousy is born, where the stepmother's heart turns black, where love chooses suffering over beauty. The forest fell silent after the prince spoke. Amara's heart beat so loudly she feared everyone could hear it. She lowered her head immediately, as she had been trained to do all her life. "I asked a question," Prince Caden said again, his voice calm but firm. "Who is that girl?" One of the village elders stepped forward nervously. She is Amara, my prince, daughter of Chief Obiora." The prince's brows knitted together. "Chief Obiora has a daughter of this grace, and no one spoke of her?" Amara's hands trembled. Grace? No one had ever used that word for her. Prince Caden dismounted from his horse and walked closer. The guards tensed, but he waved them away. "What is your name?" he asked her gently. "Amara, my lord," she whispered. "Look at me," he said, slowly, fearfully. She lifted her eyes, and in that moment the prince forgot the world. He saw no makeup, no royal fabric, no ornaments. He saw a soul that had survived storms without turning bitter. A girl shaped by suffering, not broken by it. "You carry pain like a crown," he said quietly, more to himself than to her. Those words followed Amara like a shadow. That evening, the prince arrived at Chief Obiora's compound. Drums followed him. Guards filled the entrance. The neighborhood gathered like ants around honey. Madame Nena nearly fainted from excitement. She pushed Zara forward aggressively, adjusting her clothes, her hair, her posture. "My prince," Madame Nena said sweetly, bowing low. "This is my daughter, Zara." Prince Caden barely glanced at Zara. Instead, his eyes searched the crowd. Then he saw Amara, standing in the corner, dirty, exhausted, trying to disappear. He smiled. "I came for her," he said. The compound froze. Madame Nena's smile cracked. "Her?" She laughed nervously. "My prince. That is only a servant girl." Prince Caden's eyes hardened. "She is the daughter of this house, and she is the woman my heart recognizes." A sharp gasp tore through the crowd. Zara's face drained of color. Madame Nena staggered backward as if struck. Chief Obiora dropped to his knees, shaking. "My prince?" Madame Nena cried, her voice trembling with fake humility. "She is not fit. She knows nothing of royalty." Prince Caden stepped forward. "She knows humility. She knows endurance. She knows truth." Then he turned to Amara. "I choose you." That night, Madame Nena did not sleep. She paced her room like a trapped snake. "How?" she hissed. "How did that dirty girl steal what belongs to my daughter?" Zara sobbed into pillows, her makeup smeared, her pride shattered. "Mother, I cannot be mocked," she cried. "The whole village will laugh at me." Madame Nena's eyes darkened. "No," she whispered. "They will not laugh." She stopped pacing. "They will mourn." The next morning, Madame Nena prepared Amara's breakfast herself. For the first time, the food smelled unusually sweet. Amara hesitated. Madame Nena smiled. "Eat, my dear. You are now important." Amara took 2 bites. Her stomach twisted. Pain exploded inside her like fire. She collapsed. The house erupted. Neighbors rushed in. Chief Obiora screamed for help. The prince's guards were summoned. An old healer arrived, smelled the food, and spat on the ground. "Poison," she said. Madame Nena fell to the ground dramatically, crying. "Who would want to harm that girl?" she wailed. The healer looked straight at her, but said nothing, because wickedness wears many masks. Amara survived. Barely. Prince Caden stood beside Amara's mat that night, fury burning behind his calm face. "Who did this?" he asked. Amara shook her head weakly. "I do not want trouble," she whispered. Prince Caden clenched his fists. "There will be no mercy for anyone who harms you again." Madame Nena heard those words, and smiled secretly. The second plot. The river. Weeks later, Madame Nena sent Amara to the river at night. "The prince wants water from the deep side," she lied. The river was dangerous. Spirits were said to live there. As Amara bent to fetch water, hands grabbed her from behind. She screamed. The current pulled. Darkness swallowed her. But destiny is stubborn. A fisherman downstream heard her cry. He jumped in, pulled her out. Alive. Again. Now the whispers became shouts. That woman wants her dead. Twice is no accident. Protect the girl. Madame Nena felt eyes on her everywhere. But hatred had gone too far to turn back. That night, Madame Nena visited a forbidden place. A shrine hidden deep in the forest. She knelt before dark powers. I want her gone, she said. Forever. The wind answered, and something listened. The forest was different at night. Trees that looked harmless in daylight stretched into twisted shadows. The wind whispered names no one wanted to hear. Even the moon hid behind clouds, as if ashamed to watch what would happen. Madame Nena wrapped herself in a dark cloth and walked barefoot, carrying a calabash tied with red thread. Inside it was gin, bitter herbs, and something far worse, her hatred. She reached the forbidden shrine just before midnight. It was a place elders warned children never to go. A place where the earth was always cold, and no birds sang. Old skulls hung from branches. Symbols were carved deep into stone, older than the kingdom itself. Madame Nena knelt. Her voice shook not with fear, but with hunger. I have come to make a request. The fire she lit burned blue. The wind stopped. Then a voice came not from the air, not from the ground, but from inside her head. Madame Nena swallowed. Anything, she said. I want the girl dead. The prince must never marry her. There was a pause. Then laughter. Dry. Cold. Endless. What price? She asked, her heart pounding. The fire flared higher. The girl must die by your hand, or your daughter will pay. Madame Nena froze. My daughter? She whispered. For a moment doubt flickered. Then jealousy crushed it. I agree, she said. The fire went out, and the forest exhaled. Days later, Madame Nena became unusually kind. She stopped shouting, stopped beating, stopped starving Amara. The neighbors were suspicious. The prince was cautious. But Amara, who had known only cruelty, did not understand kindness from evil. She only felt confused. One evening, Madame Nena called her softly. Amara, she said, smiling, come. I want to prepare you for the palace. The words felt unreal. She gave Amara a beautiful dress, simple but clean. This is for the prince's coming ceremony, she said. Even Chief Obiora was shocked. Madame Nena bowed her head. I have changed, she said. Forgive me. The prince watched carefully. But evil is patient. On the night of the full moon, Madame Nena sent the guards away with lies. The prince asked for privacy, she said. Then she turned to Amara. There is a ritual before marriage, she whispered. A cleansing. Follow me. Amara hesitated. But years of obedience are hard to unlearn. They walked deep into the forest. Deeper. Until the shrine appeared. Amara stopped. Fear gripped her chest. This place, she began. Madame Nena's smile vanished. You should have died long ago, she hissed. She raised a knife. Amara did not scream. She did not run. She looked at her stepmother and spoke for the first time. Not as a servant, but as a human being. Why do you hate me so much? She asked quietly. Madame Nena's hand trembled. Because you were chosen, she spat. Because you were loved without trying. Because my daughter was invisible beside you. Tears streamed down her face. Hatred and pain mixed. She lunged. A voice thundered through the forest. Stop! Prince Caden stepped into the clearing. Behind him, guards, elders, neighbors, the entire village. Madame Nena screamed. The knife fell. The shrine shook violently. The fire reignited on its own. And the voice returned angrier now. The deal is broken. Madame Nena turned pale. No, no, I obeyed, she cried. You hesitated. Forest. She knelt before Dark Pow. The ground cracked. Zara's scream echoed from afar. Madame Nena's heart stopped. My daughter, she screamed. She ran. They found Zara at home collapsed, foaming at the mouth. The healer shook her head. The spirits have taken their payment. Madame Nena fell to the ground, wailing like a wounded animal. This was not what I wanted, she screamed. Prince Caden stood tall. This is what you chose. Zara survived, but she never spoke again. Her beauty faded. Her mirrors were covered forever. Madame Nena was banished from the kingdom. Chief Obiora wept not only for the evil he allowed, but for the silence he chose. He knelt before Amara. Forgive me, he said. Tears washed years of pain from Amara's eyes. I forgive you, she whispered, because forgiveness is power. The wedding was celebrated across the land. Amara walked into the palace, not as a servant, but as a queen. She did not forget suffering. She fed the hungry, protected the weak, and broke the silence that once imprisoned her. As for Madame Nena, some say she wanders the forest at night, still bargaining, still begging, still losing.